Assalamu alaikum. Following along on the same method, only this time we're going to read from Surat An Nisaa, and for the same reason, to help you all understand a little bit more about Gaza and about who's right and who's wrong and what Allah thinks of them. So let us begin. We can give you some numbers here. Let us begin. Verse. This is such a perfect example. Verse 155. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. فبما نقضهم ميثاقهم وكفرهم بآيات الله وقتلهم الأنبياء بغير حق وقولهم قلوبنا غلف بل طبع الله عليها بكفرهم فلا يؤمنون إلا قليلا وبكفرهم وقولهم على مريم بهتانا عظيما وقولهم إنا قتلنا المسيح عيسى ابن مريم رسول الله وما قتلوه وما صلبوه ولكن شبه لهم وإن الذين اختلفوا فيه لفي شك منه ما لهم به من علم إلا اتباع الظن وما قتلوه يقينا بل رفعه الله إليه وكان الله عزيزا حكيما ومن أهل الكتاب إلا لا يؤمنن به قبل موته ويوم القيامة يكون عليهم شهيدا. And now, this might need a little more explanation from me than just this translation, but we will, before we finish it, we will do it. There's a lot of things here in this particular Surat An Nisaa which are controversial, and we don't mind. We're not afraid of controversy, especially those of us who were Christians. And we curse them for the breaking of the covenant. Now, we will be speaking here about the J word. They say it here in all the translation. They say the word Jew. However, I'll explain later why this is problematical. I'll explain it later. I just call them the wayward of the Bani Israel. And when they're very wayward, I call them Yahud. And I'll explain that also later. But let's just start with this. For the breaking of the covenant and their disbelief in the signs of Allah and their killing of the prophets without right, and their saying, our hearts are wrapped up, qulubuna gulf. Rather, Allah has sealed them because of their disbelief. So they believe not, except for a few. And that one verse, hardly ever do they ever leave their so-called religion or become Muslim. Very few. And they do not like to proselytize. They do not like to spread their so-called religion. They don't make dawah. And we curse them for their disbelief and their saying against Maryam a great slander. So it mentions here that the great slander, they accused her of fornication. So now, I don't want to go into this. This is very controversial. There's so much controversy in Surat An Nisaa. We should just take a whole unit for 1 month on Surat An Nisaa. Really. Maybe. Let's see. And for their saying, indeed, we have killed the Messiah, Jesus, the son of Mary, the messenger of Allah. And they did not kill him, nor did they crucify him, but another was made to resemble him to them. And indeed, those who differ over it are in doubt about it. They have no knowledge except the following of assumption. And they did not kill him for certain. Rather, Allah raised him to himself. And ever is Allah exalted and mighty and wise. So we'll go on. وَإِن مِّنْ أَهْلِ الْكِتَابِ إِلَّا لَا يُؤْمِنَنَّ بِهِ قَبْلَ مَوْتِهِ وَيَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ يَكُونُ عَلَيْهِمْ شَهِيدًا فبذم من الذين هادوا حرمنا عليهم طيبات أهلت لهم وبصدهم عن سبيل الله كثيرا وأخذهم الربا وقد نهوا عنه وأكلهم أموال الناس بالباطل وأعتدنا للكافرين منهم عذابا أليما. We can finish this. لكن الراسخون في علم منهم والمؤمنون يؤمنون بما أنزل إليك وما أنزل من قبلك والمقيمين الصلاة والمؤتون الزكاة والمؤمنون بالله واليوم الآخر أولئك سنؤتيهم أجرا عظيما. And now I think I made this the end because I want to do some explanation about some things here regarding Surat An Nisaa, as I told you, is completely filled with differences of the ulama on certain things. Do you know when the Yahud, when the Jews, when the lost people, the wayward, the disobedient, the covenant breakers from Bani Israel finally escaped, and Musa took them out of Egypt and crossed the Red Sea and brought them into safety and security, Allah said that they should go in sujada. Now, sujada means, yes, we know sujud, we know how we make sujud, but literally the meaning of the word sujud is to be humble, to be very, when you make sujud, your face is on the ground and you're in awe of Allah and you're in a state of such thankfulness, gratefulness that He has saved you. Well, this is not often taught, but I like it because when I first heard about it, I remember it was like 20 years ago. I got the hadith of Bukhari and I found it. And I went around asking everybody, look what I found here. Well, I didn't know them because my Arabic wasn't as, it was barely passable, but I could read that hadith. So I had to check up, was it true or not? Yes, it's true. Does it really mean this? Yes, you have to be careful because only certain people are allowed to talk to me. That was my life in Egypt. I was always the exception. But that's how I got my Quranis. I call them my family of black niqabi women that can never be replaced. And they were my role models. And that's how all of this came about, that you see me here now. I would love to just wear my black niqab, or I would just love to wear all black. But people say, no, you're American. You have to look American. You have to sound American so that you can get all the converts to listen, because nobody else is going to teach them what you're going to teach them. So get ready for this one. In Sahih Bukhari, the hadith says, not only did they not enter in humility, they entered sitting on their backside, entering, shuffling. I don't know if any of you have ever been to the gym, but one of the exercises that they tell you to do is to walk on your backside. So you sit and you kind of do this as you're going through the gym. Women only, of course, but it's supposed to be good for you. I used to go to the gym all the time. Oh, years I went to the gym. But anyway, I don't anymore. So when they did that, that was a sign that I find so indicative of how they don't respect Allah. You just got rescued. And instead of going into the promised land in sujood, in humility, they shuffle in on their backside. Now, they were also supposed to say hittatun. That's in Quran, a word. Naghfir lakum khatayakum. No, they did not. They said sharatun. Now, I remember when I read that, I said, Sheraton? That's a hotel chain. Hmm. I wonder if there's any connection because I always wonder about the connections. I have this thing in my mind that whenever I hear Arabic, like Mussolini, they killed him. He was the president of Italy, and it was during the Second World War, and he had so many enemies. They hung him and publicly and humiliated him, and his name was Benito Mussolini. And I always thought, Mussolini, it's an Arabic word. Lam yakum min al musallin, it means people who pray. And I thought, gee, what, what is that all about? And then I'll give you one more. I mean, I might be getting off track, but not really, because so many have commented that they love it when I do meanings of words that are not normal references that can be, you can say, understood by shuyukh or by most people. But I have a theory that Arabic is in us from the time we were born because there's a verse in Quran that said we all made shahada when we were in the back of Adam. And I don't want to get into that. That's another very, very big, it takes a long time to explain that. But in the Quran, it tells us that we were all taken out of Adam's back. Now, sometimes people will say loins, meaning the place where uh, down there and so forth. But no, they have proven through science now, and they used to laugh at it and say, "What do you mean out of Adam's back? That's not correct." Yes, it is. Because if you study the physiology, the biology of the male reproductive system, there is something back there, which is the original area of sperm production. Now, I'm no doctor, but this is what I know to be a fact from some people that do scientific miracles of Quran, and they are doctors, and you can get a lot of books of it now. There never was before, but now you just open Google and you can upload a PDF and you'll be, or download, is it? I don't know. You will be amazed at what's in Quran. So because of uh, this fact that we know that every single one of us made shahada when we were in our little nascent state of being, that we were all, every soul that's ever existed. Now, I know you can't comprehend this. This is very, very, you have to take it on faith. That all of us made shahada. Every human soul said, La ilaha illallah, because they're Allah's creation. And the reason Allah brought us here was to know Him, to love Him, to fear Him, to worship Him. And by that, we gain the paradise. So, as long as we know that, Arabic is intrinsic in us. And there is another hadith of Prophet Muhammad where he says, Kullu mawlud wulid ala fitra. Every born baby child is born with the fitra. Lam yabranu lisani, yet when he begins to speak, al-aba yattahawadani wa yattanassarani wa yattamajjasani, meaning his parents will teach him another language. And this is exactly true, 100%, because the Yatanawa, the Yahud. Let's use the word now for Jew. Let's just use both words. Yatahawadan, Yahud. The Jews will teach their child Hebrew. Yatanasarani, you can choose. You want to say Latin, you want to say Aramaic, you want to say Syriac. No one really knows what the Nasara or the Masihiyin or the Christians spoke, because so many theories, so many lies. Let's just say it wasn't Arabic, because that's why Prophet Muhammad said their parents changed them. And then the Yatan Majisan would mean the Iranians, the Persian language. It's called Farsi. So if you think about it, Prophet Muhammad was referring to those people who were extant at that time who could have opted for Arabic, but they didn't. So that's why, for me, I'm just telling you why I do these things, that they just come to me because I love Arabic and I always have, and I don't know why, and it just came to me, and there it is. Allah did it. But here's another one for you. The Shajarat al-Yaqteen. Remember when Yunus was in the belly of the whale, and the story that he was thrown up upon land when he did not, supposedly, I don't know what he did or what he didn't do, but Allah says he didn't finish what he was supposed to do. He was ordered to stay and make dawah, but for some reason he left, and for that Allah had him swallowed up and carried far away by a whale. Now, and he was thrown from the whale's mouth under a plant, and it's called Shajarat al-Yaqteen. And the translation says it's like a big squash plant. You know how those types of pumpkins, and they grow on like viney things that are on the ground, like they're not on trees. Well, if you imagine the whale's behavior, a whale will travel back and forth, back and forth. That's the whale's behavior. That's why where I'm from, you can go, it's called the whale watch, and you will see them act like this. And whales are known to go and travel very far. Yaqteen, 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 Yaqteen. Could that be the Yucatan Peninsula in the area of Mexico, where you can see it written? If you want to look at a map and you want to do this research, you will see Yucatan, Yucatan. Could that be Yaqteen? Could that be, because it's on the ocean? You know, this is just how my mind works. And I keep thinking of things like this because Arabic is in me. So when I read the Quran, and then I read a lot, and I've been reading it now for 25 years, the words stick because they're from Allah, and they tell you things that are amazingly useful and beautiful, etc. But then when you start to read English, you start to put two and two together, and how some words are so bad that we have in English. Who invented that? Like hor al-ain. The word hor means to be pure. So those women that the men enjoy when they go to the paradise, hor al-ain, they're always trying to make it sound like it's so sexual, when in fact, that is exactly not how it should be understood. They should be understood as the most pure, untouched women that are so good. Yeah, you can be beautiful and good at the same time. But where did that word whore come from? How about the word sewer? Our majari, it's called in Arabic. Our system, we call it the sewer system, where, uh, when you flush the toilet and all that, it goes down there. Sewer? Who named it the sewer? You have to ask yourself. The same people who named a whore, uh, there's a lot of this. I left it in Egypt. I'll probably never get it for a year more, but I have a book of all of these words that I believe uh, were originally Arabic, or enemies used the English to make bad words. Oh, here's another one. It'll come to me, but I wasn't preparing to do this. I was preparing to just do Surat An Nisaa, but I finished what we needed to do. And I wanted to explain to you how Surat An Nisaa is so filled with fighting Yahud. People say, oh, it's about the women. I don't know. Let's rethink that one. It's all about fighting the Yahud. So I want to fight the Yahud a lot right now because they're still being stubborn and they're still killing babies daily, every day. It's the same, 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 same. So Allah says that we have to fight them, and yajidu fikum ghilza. You have to be tough. You have to be really, just hang in there and never give up and use all of your strength in whatever you can. I don't have muscles and I don't have money, but I have something better. I have the words of Allah. So when we stop and think about the power in the words of Allah, how about this one? I'll leave you with this one. I said I'd only make it 20 minutes. One of the words for turning your backs in war is called tawalait. Tawalait. You didn't want to fight. You just were a coward, and Allah ordered you to go fight. You didn't want to. So Allah said tawalaitum. They tawalait. They turn their backs. Tawalait. Who named the toilet the toilet? Think about those who Allah describes as changing the words, changing the letters, moving the letters around. Who could that be? Oh, I think I know. The baby killers, the covenant breakers, the deceiving liars, the cowards. So as long as Allah gives me breath and time, and you see how much trouble I have negotiating technical things, and my eyesight is really going. That's another thing I worry about. That I don't worry about it. If Allah wants me to be blind, I'll be blind. But you can see yourself declining. I only have one more month of 77, and then I turn 78. So let's make the most of this month. Let me know if you like this short presentation. This one was from Surat An Nisaa. Let me know if you'd like me to go on with this, because tomorrow I was going to finish the last chapter, the end of the volume of Tawheed that I was doing, volume 1. And it's about getting rain, istisqa binajum. But I had done that already, istisqa binajum, but this one is talking about the nawat and planets, and that's another difference of the ulama of how does the rain originate. I even had one scholar tell me, "Oh no, that word it means clouds," and I thought, "Well, wait, that doesn't mean clouds. How does it mean clouds?" But she was referring to the water cycle, and anyway, we'll do it tomorrow. I have to do it tomorrow because I want to get it done, and then I can say we finished the whole volume. But there's another whole volume of 500 pages also. So, oh, my goodness, 24 minutes. I never seem to be able to just stop. I could go on like this all night. I could, but I know your attention span like small bits. I know that. So anyway, it's 10 o'clock, and time to pray Isha, and then I'm gonna watch YouTube videos. That's what I do late at night when I really can't read anything. And then, of course, I'll intersperse it with, of course, the Islamic ones. But right now, there's so much going on, and I'm not the one that says, no, I can't be bothered with what's going on. Uh, no, I'm a scholar. I'm a Muslim. I can't waste my time on anything other than studying Quran. No, no, it's not a waste of time. You have to be involved in what's going on around you so that you can interpret it and you can explain it. And then, inshallah, if Allah gives you a chance to interface with anyone, you will know what's up and you won't appear to be somebody who's like a monk in a cave because we don't have that, right? Allah told us we're not like those people. Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.